Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're tackling a story that sounds like it's ripped straight from a sci-fi novel, but it has roots in some very real and very powerful circles. We're talking about the plan to turn Greenland into a libertarian utopia, all fueled by a private space race.
Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question that, honestly, sounds a little crazy, but it really did happen just a few years ago. Why on earth did Donald Trump float the idea of the US buying Greenland? Now, at the time, everyone kind of laughed it off as a weird real estate obsession. But what if the real motive was something way, way more ambitious?
Well, it turns out the real story here isn't about grabbing land or drilling for oil in the traditional sense. Nope. Hiding behind those headlines was an incredibly radical vision for the future of humanity itself, a plan to build a totally new kind of society, literally from the ground up.
So, that brings up the big question. Who is actually behind this audacious plan? You see, this wasn't just some random idea. It actually aligns perfectly with the philosophies of a very, very influential network of thinkers and entrepreneurs.
This vision is championed by a powerful network of tech billionaires and political figures, many of them aligned with Donald Trump. We're talking about Peter Thiel, who's really a key intellectual force and financial backer here. You've also got J.D. Vance in the mix, and of course, Elon Musk, whose company SpaceX is absolutely central to this whole concept.
At the absolute core of their belief system is this idea right here. For Thiel and his allies, our traditional governments are basically monopolies. You know, they've grown slow, they're tangled in bureaucracy, and they're allergic to change. They truly believe that to unlock human progress, we have to create brand new systems that can compete with the old ones.
And that leads us right to the blueprint for what this new society would actually look like. I mean, if you want to escape the old rules, you got to find a new place to write them, right?
So, the central concept is what they call a startup city. Just think about that name for a second. The idea is to run a territory less like a country and more like a tech startup. Imagine a society that's optimized for speed, for pure innovation, and radical freedom, completely free from the weight of existing laws and regulations.
And this really frames the core philosophical shift they're pushing for. See, traditionally, we think of politics as using your voice. You vote, you protest, you try to change the system from the inside. This new model, though, is all about exit. If you don't like the rules where you are, you don't waste time fighting, you just leave and you go build or join a better system somewhere else.
So why Greenland? Well, for these thinkers, it's the perfect blank canvas. It has these vast open spaces, immense resources, a strategic location. It's what developers call a greenfield site, basically a blank slate where you can build this laboratory for a whole new way of living.
Okay, but let's be real. Building a utopia isn't cheap.